everyone, welcome back. We always try to bring you the most interesting stuff happening in the AI world. And today's deep dive is no exception. We've got some seriously thought-provoking material to get through.
Yeah, this is a big one.
It is a big one.
We're
talking about superintelligence.
That's right. Superintelligence.
The idea that AI could one day surpass human intelligence in pretty much every way.
Potentially.
Potentially, right. We're basing this deep dive on a couple of really interesting sources.
Right.
A blog post about this guy named Sutskever, a leading AI researcher, right?
Yeah, big name.
Big name. And this blog post is about a talk he gave at a huge AI conference called NeurIPS 2024.
Yeah.
So this is cutting-edge stuff, folks.
Absolutely.
And we've also got some excerpts of the presentation itself, so we're going to be looking at the actual words Sutskever used,
straight from the source.
straight from the horse's mouth, as they say.
Right.
So let's kick things off with what really caught our eye in this blog post. This Sutskever guy, he's making a pretty bold prediction.
Yeah, he is.
He says that pre-training, as we know it, will end. And that's a pretty big statement coming from someone like him, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this guy, he's one of the pioneers of pre-training, He's a co-founder of OpenAI.
Oh, yeah.
The folks behind ChatGPT and DALL-E and all that. So when he says something like that, people really listen.
Yeah, people listen. Now, before we get into what he thinks will replace pre-training,
Okay.
can we just take a step back for a second and explain what pre-training actually is?
Sure.
For those of us who maybe aren't,
Right.
deep in the AI trenches.
Yeah. Not everyone spends their days thinking about neural networks.
Yeah, exactly right. So what is this pre-training thing?
Well, think of it like this.
Okay.
Imagine you're teaching a kid a language,
Okay.
right? You don't start them off by having them write a novel.
Right.
Right. You start with the basics, the alphabet, the sounds, grammar, vocabulary.
Building blocks.
The building blocks, yeah. And that's kind of what pre-training is for AI. It's like feeding these massive data sets to an AI system.
Like a ton of information.
Tons of information, text, images, code.
Okay.
And the AI, it learns all of these general patterns and representations from that data.
It's like absorbing all this knowledge, right?
Absorbing it, yeah. It's like laying the foundation for more complex tasks later on.
Okay, so that's pre-training. So what's Sutskever saying is going to come after that?
Well, he's talking about something called superintelligence.
Superintelligence.
Yeah, and he describes it as having these 4 key qualities.
4 qualities. Let's hear them.
Agentic, reasoning, understanding, and self-aware.
Okay, that's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is. Each one is pretty profound on its own.
Let's break those down a little bit, starting with agentic. What does that even mean in this context?
When we talk about an AI being agentic, we're talking about it having the ability to act independently.
Act independently.
Right, like not just following pre-programmed instructions. Right.
But actually setting its own goals, making decisions, taking actions in the real world.
So it's not just reacting, it's actually like planning.
Planning, yeah, and pursuing goals and, maybe even improvising when it needs to.
That's pretty different from what we see most AI doing now.
It is. Think of it like this. Right now, we have AI that can diagnose diseases, right? Pretty impressive, right?
Yeah.
But imagine an AI that doesn't just diagnose a patient,
Okay.
but also independently orders tests, consults with specialists,
Wow.
adjusts treatment plans based on real-time data.
That's a lot.
It is. And, all while navigating the complexities of the healthcare system.
That's a whole other level.
That's agency right there.
Okay, so that's agentic. What about reasoning?
All right, so reasoning, we're not just talking about solving a Sudoku puzzle.
Okay.
We're talking about AI that can really think critically.
Critically.
Yeah, extrapolate from limited data, make complex decisions.
In uncertain environments and, even potentially innovate.
Innovate.
Yeah, come up with totally new ideas and solutions.
So not just following patterns it's learned, but actually coming up with new stuff.
Exactly. Thinking outside the box, so to speak.
Okay, so we've got agentic reasoning. What was the next one?
Understand it.
Understanding, okay.
Yeah.
What does that look like in this super intelligent AI?
Well, this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
We're talking about AI that can not only process information, but actually grasp the meaning behind it.
The meaning.
The nuances, the context, the emotions.
So like really understanding what things mean to humans.
Exactly, yeah. Like imagine an AI that can read a novel
Okay.
and not just understand the plot, but also get the themes, the symbolism, the characters' motivations.
It could even write its own novel, maybe.
Maybe, or, write a screenplay, compose a symphony.
Wow.
Provide really insightful therapy. Who knows?
That's a whole other level of creativity and emotional intelligence.
It is, and it's something that we haven't really seen in AI yet.
Right. Okay, so that's understanding. What about the last one, self-aware?
Self-aware.
This is where we get into the sci-fi territory, right?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, this one's a bit trickier to define. Does it mean the AI is conscious?
Yeah.
Does it have feelings, a sense of self?
Right.
Honestly, we don't really know.
Sutskever didn't really get into that, did he?
Not in detail, no. He kind of left it open for interpretation.
Hmm.
But, it definitely raises some big questions.
Yeah, it does.
About what it means for a machine to be self-aware.
Exactly. So we've got these 4 qualities: agentic, reasoning, understanding, self-aware. These are the things that Sutskever is saying will define superintelligence.
Yeah, this is his vision of what's coming next.
And he's saying this is what's going to replace pre-training.
Yeah, he sees it as the next evolution.
The next big paradigm shift.
Exactly.
Now, if this actually happens,
Right.
what does that mean for the future of AI development?
Well, for one thing, it would mean a pretty radical shift in how we build AI systems.
Great.
Right now, we're all about big data. Bigger the data set, the better.
Yeah.
But if superintelligence is about, understanding, reasoning,
Right.
we might need to move away from that.
Really?
Yeah, towards more sophisticated learning algorithms.
Okay.
Algorithms that can learn from fewer examples.
Interesting.
Adapt more quickly to new situations.
So more efficient learning?
More efficient, yeah. Maybe even some kind of common sense.
Artificial common sense.
Exactly. Something that we haven't been able to crack yet.
Right. That's been the holy grail of AI for a while now.
It has.
So this prediction, if it's right, it's not just about what AI can do. It's about how we build AI.
It changes everything.
It changes everything. And it also raises some pretty big questions about, how we prepare for this.
Oh, absolutely.
If we do create these superintelligent systems, how do we control them?
Right.
How do we make sure they're aligned with human values?
How do we keep them from, going rogue?
Going rogue, like in the movies, right?
Yeah. I mean, those are questions we can't ignore.
Yeah, that's a whole other can of worms, isn't it? Maybe a deep dive for another day.
Definitely.
But for now, let's leave our listeners with a final thought to chew on.
Okay, here's one.
Yeah.
If superintelligence does emerge, what role will humans play?
Yeah.
Will we be partners, collaborators, or will we become something else entirely?
Something else entirely.
I mean, what does this mean for the future of humanity?
Yeah, big questions, folks.
Big question.
Really big questions. Ones we're going to have to start grappling with sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. It's time to start thinking.
Yeah, it's time to start thinking. Well, that's all the time we have for this deep dive, but as always, we encourage you to
keep exploring.
Keep exploring, read more, think more.
Do your own research.
Do your own research. This is a topic that's going to affect all of us.
It will.
So the more informed we are, the better.
Absolutely.
Until next time.
Stay curious.